Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in this video, I'm gonna share with you how to create a gorgeous statement on your front door with a Halloween wreath. Yes, we are creating a beautiful Halloween wreath DIY step by step. I'm gonna give you all the tips and all the tricks on how to create this gorgeous statement on your front door for Halloween. But before we do that, I wanna take a second to thank this week's members, and they are Carolyn Fritz, Judy Coates, Angie Gainey, Gail, Mary Montgomery, and Aleida Mendez. Yay! Thank you ladies so much for your support to this channel. It really helps me create better content for everybody. You can claim your badge now, and then also you can start enjoying the perks. And if you want to become a member to support this channel, all you have to do is click the join button somewhere underneath the screen, and there's also going to be a link in the description box below. Remember, this has to be done through a computer because it's not set up for mobile. All right, you guys, well now I'm gonna give you all of the materials you're gonna need to create this beautiful Halloween wreath DIY step by step. Keep watching. Some of the materials we're gonna need for this fabulous Halloween wreath are going to be this beautiful sign of a witch on a cauldron, and her boots are obviously sticking upside down. It says trick or treat. I'm gonna use this wreath form that is a Christmas wreath form, and we're gonna give it a fluff, and then also when you see it again, you're gonna see it black because I'm gonna give it a light spray paint. For my deco material, I chose a 10-inch black. I also chose a 10-inch orange, and I chose this. Let me show you what I did with this. I'm also gonna use this deco material, but as you guys can see, it's a 21-inch long, and because I only want it to be about 10 or 11 inches, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut half of it. It's a big roll, so it's gonna take a while. Keep watching. It's taken 4 hands to get this done, but I really wanted to use this particular mesh, so I'm gonna keep going and I'll be right back. So as you guys can see, if you do not have the 10-inch and if you buy a 21, you can always cut it in half. And I chose all of these materials to go with this particular sign. So now I'm gonna show you some of the ribbons and other things that we're going to need. To give our wreath a little bit of pizzazz, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna use this beautiful black zebra pattern ribbon. I'm also gonna use a 1-inch orange glitter ribbon. I'm gonna use a beautiful polka dot ribbon as well. This is an 1.5 inches to 2 inch. And then I'm gonna use a black and white striped ribbon. So this is gonna make for a really modern looking wreath with a witch in it. And then I chose some ornaments as well, like this beautiful fuchsia in matte and then also in shiny. I chose this polka dotted with all the colors that our witch has, and then also one stripe black and white one to go with our ribbon. So now I'm going to show you some of the picks that you will be needing for this beautiful Halloween wreath. All right everyone, so for our picks, I'm going to start with this pretty bush that has a flower. I loved it because it has some purple in it, and as you guys can see, the purple is one of the colors. And I also chose some other greeneries because it would not be a wreath without some greenery. Then I chose this beautiful pick with some of the polka dots and the fuchsia and the stripes and the lime green to go with our witch sign. I chose this pick right here with the pumpkin and the orange balls and the fuchsia balls as well. I chose one of these that has some witch's hat, well, because it's a witch sign, so I think it would be representative of it. I chose some of these picks that are more like a Christmas pick, but hey, this is the time to repurpose some of that. I chose on purple and then also some on fuchsia, and I chose this beautiful pick with some spiders in it that I think we're gonna take the spiders out, but I just love the way that this is very spooky and it's gonna give it some character. All right, let me get started, and I'll be right back with step number 1. So now that we know all the materials we're going to need, it's time to get started. I really hope you like this one. All right, so we're gonna start with our fabulous Halloween wreath, and I just wanna mention that I went ahead and gave it a coat of this black spray paint to our form to darken it a little bit more. And then also I wanna do something different today. So instead of a round shape, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this just a little bit. So we're gonna put some weight into it, and we're gonna go ahead and make it more of an oval shape, because I feel like for this particular project, because the sign is longer and then also because your doors are longer, I think it will look way better. And so now what we're going to do is we're gonna push some of these bristles down onto the middle of it to kind of cover some of it. Now the reason why I like working with this greenery is because you see all of these ties that you already get when you have your wreath already. So what we're going to do is make sure that it's flattened and it is an oval shape, as you guys can see. So now I'm gonna put this to the side and I'm gonna put it right here. So what I'm gonna start to do is I'm gonna cut some barrels, and I'm not gonna measure it. You guys don't really have to measure it. So it has to be probably about 18 to 20 inches. And I want to do maybe, I wanna say, let's do 7 of each. So that's 2, 3. I'm gonna cut all of them and I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. All right, so now that we have all of our barrels cut off, what I'm going to do is organize it, bring the wreath back, and show you step number 2. All right, so I'm gonna start with some of the orange ones, and what I wanna do is I wanna make sure that I do double barrels, like so. And then what you wanna do is you wanna pinch right here in the middle, and you're gonna start on the outside. And you're gonna grab some of these bristles and just twist them real good. What we're trying to do is give it some shape, and of course I'm going to alternate every single one of them. So I'm gonna do an orange one. Actually, I wanna do double barrels because they look way cuter than single barrels. Then you pinch and then you do an orange one. Then you do a black one, of course. And I'm gonna bring out some of the plaid ones. I brought some of the plaid ones to roll, and as you guys can see, I'm going to alternate all of this, making double barrels. It is super easy. Then you pinch right here in the middle. You grab 2 twisty ties from this wreath, then you give them a fluff like that. I'm gonna bring another orange one, making double barrels. This is an easy step. It just looks a little bit more complicated than it really is, but as you guys can see, all you have to do is grab 2 of those bristles, give them a twist. Now I'm gonna introduce a black one, of course, doing double barrels. Now this is something that you have to be really careful with, because if they tag on to something, they pull and then there goes your barrel. So I'm gonna do that right there. I'm gonna continue to add some of these plaid ones. They are perfect for the sign. It has all of the colors that our sign has. You're gonna pinch right here and then you're going to introduce it right here. Super easy. I'm gonna continue doing this all throughout the wreath and I'll be right back so I don't bore you guys with this easy step. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'm at the point where I'm about to add the last 3 barrels. So I figure I talk to you guys about what I learned on this particular class that I took. The lady said that the first thing you have to do is make sure that you do double rolls to give it all the texture. So what that means is that you go from end to end and then you roll inward, and then what you want to do is you pinch and gather, and then you introduce into your wreath. You grab 2 twisty ties or 2 of these bristles, twisty ties. And then we're gonna do one last one. So you basically open them up and you're going to roll inward, both of them. Then you wanna pinch right here, and that's gonna be our last one in this wreath. And then what you wanna do is you wanna make sure you fluff them. You fluff all of this, and this is what it looks like. Now the inside is gonna look a little flat, but that's because that's what our sign is going to sit. All right, you guys, so this is step number 1. So we've added all of the deco mesh that you probably won't even see, to be honest, but it will give your wreath a little bit of girth and statement on your door. So we're gonna move on to step number 2. Okay, so the next step, or step number 2, is going to be to decide where do we want our sign to sit, and we have to make some room for it. So we have to push some of these bristles out so that we can put it right here. So that's where I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these bristles and I'm going to just go ahead and tie it right here at the bottom of the leg. Actually up here on the top. So I'm gonna grab 2, and I'm just gonna do this to secure it real quick because we're going to glue it anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it right there. I'm gonna grab my glue gun, which is going to be my tool, and then I'm gonna add some glue under it. And then I'm gonna do the same with this guy right here, making sure that I glue it in several places so that way it'll stay. I'm gonna grab some right here, and I'm also gonna grab some right here. Just be sure you be generous with that glue so it doesn't end up going anywhere with the heat. And it is smoking, you guys, I'm gonna move my hot glue gun over to this side. So now that we have our wreath all glued together, we're gonna let it sit for a minute. And before I do that, I'm gonna bring back my ribbons and start doing step number 3. Okay, for this step, what we're going to do is we're gonna make some bows. And for that, I have my trusty wires. I'm gonna go ahead and give it probably about, I want it to be a little bit of a longer tail because we can always cut it short. So I'm gonna go about probably 8 inches, and I'm gonna do 2 loops only. And remember to always twist, so you always have the pretty side of this beautiful ribbon up. So I'm gonna go like that, and then I'm gonna cut. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put this to the side, and I'm going to introduce my next ribbon, and it's going to be this beautiful zebra pattern. And I'm also gonna give it another 6 inches. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and do another bow right here and just go down like this. And then you twist to bring that pattern up. And then you're gonna do yet another one just going down like this. So now we have this, and I'm gonna cut right here. And so now what I want to do is I'm going to introduce yet another ribbon that I should have opened before I started. And I do like this lime green with orange because our sign has some lime green on the dripping on the cauldron, and then also I think the orange will really pop from that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce this ribbon with the glitter polka dots facing up, making sure that I know. Okay, so yeah, this side. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it another tail right here, and then I'm going to do a cute little bow like this. And then what we're going to do is go down and then do yet another one like this. And so now I'm gonna cut my ribbon, and I'm gonna move these 2. So basically you have a 3-loop bow. Oh, it got stuck on my thumb. That is so funny. All right, so now the last one I'm going to introduce is gonna be this orange because we want some glitter. It wouldn't be a festivity without any glitter. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this really pretty glitter orange, and then I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna go down, and I'm gonna pinch. What I like about this one is because it has a beautiful backing on it. So I'm gonna cut right here, and I'm gonna move my ribbon over here. So now that I have it all like this, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go into the bottom right here without even needing anything to tie it. What I'm going to do is just grab 2 of these bristles, and I'm gonna push all the way down. And then I'm gonna grab another one from the bottom, and I'm gonna tie them with these 2 bristles really, really tight, making sure that they stay in place like that. Give it a few spins. And so now what you need to do is you need to fluff all of your bows like this, making sure you have a black one going up, a pink one going up and down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dovetail all of these tails, making sure they, like I said, they go up and down and at different heights and different variations. So basically just pinch right here, and all of these tails, I want them, like I said, some longer, some shorter. How cute is this, you guys? It's so modern looking, it's so festive, and I'm just loving, oh, I cut that one wrong. And I love it because it looks so festive and so cute, and I just think that that's what Halloween should be about, you know, enough with that spooky stuff. So I'm gonna cut yet another one right here. So how cute is this? It has a beautiful bow right here on the bottom. Make sure that I dovetail every single one of them and fluff all of my bows. And then what I'm going to do to kind of match on the top, you know, this one doesn't look, neither is this one dovetail. Let me do this before you guys clock me and tell me that I didn't do it. So what I'm going to do the top is I'm gonna spin it around. So that's gonna be the bottom of it, and that's why it has a bow, right? So now what I'm gonna do here on the top is I'm going to bring my 2 main ribbons, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring the black and white one, and then I'm going to do this beautiful zebra pattern. I'm gonna put it on top, and I'm gonna give it probably about 4-inch tail, and I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna grab one of my bristles and grab and twist, and that's gonna stay right there, right? So that's gonna give us some tails that we're gonna play with. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my 2 ribbons, making sure that they're both. I'm gonna give it, as you guys can see, a loop like this. I don't want a bow because there's already a bow on the bottom, but I do want a loop up here on the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab 2 of those bristles and I'm going to spin and twist. Then I'm gonna separate so you can see both. And then I am going to cut with a dovetail up here, starting with the black and white, so it gave us some tails, and then this beautiful zebra pattern as well, starting to remove those ribbons out from sight. And then I'm gonna dovetail this one, and I'm going to dovetail this one as well. Perfect. So far we have the loop up here on the bow on the top, we have the bow on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do the same thing that I did up here, but I'm gonna do it on the side. So I'm gonna grab my black and white, and then I'm gonna put my zebra on top, and I'm gonna give him probably about 4-inch tail, because you can always cut shorter. And what you're going to do is you're gonna start right here, and also be sure to intertwine them. You don't wanna have them all at the same height, like that. And then what you want to do is do a loop, but you wanna make sure that both ribbons are together like this, so that loop looks cohesive. You guys, I'm really hoping that you guys are learning something with this video, because I really enjoy taking that class, and I always thought of you when I was taking that class. I was like, I want to teach everybody everything that I just learned. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start dovetailing right here. I know so many of you do this to sell, and I really do hope that you are getting inspired to make something new for your customers. And if you are just doing it for your home, well, you're gonna have the prettiest door this Halloween. And stay tuned, because we'll be doing some holiday ones, maybe even some fall ones like this, to give you even more ideas on how to do all of these wreaths. And see how it's filling up already? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna switch sides. I'm gonna go around, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing over here. So I'm gonna grab my ribbon, putting that black and white one on the bottom, and I'm gonna put them like this. I'm gonna cinch right here. Then I'm gonna grab one of those bristles, grab another bristle, and then I'm gonna twist. And then make sure that they are together. The secret here is that they stay together to create that loop, okay? And then what we're gonna do is you're gonna go as far down as you can, which is what's gonna keep that loop shape. Then we're gonna grab our scissors, and I'm going to cut right here on a tail. And you remember to always also cut them at different lengths and heights, so that way they look more like tails and they don't look so intentional. If they look less intentional, they are more pleasing to the eye. So you wanna make sure that they're not all cut at the same length. Because remember, perfection does not exist, so we should not be looking for it. All right, so far, so good. That's what it looks like. But now, to take it even more over the top, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do the same thing, but now I'm gonna let that drop on the floor actually. So is this one. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to layer these two right here, and I'm gonna pinch, and I'm gonna start over on this side. I'm gonna pinch, and I'm going to go right here, because we want some of this same ribbon as tails. And just go and pinch and swoop like this. And then what you want to do is you do a big loop. Remember to keep them together like this. And then you pinch and you go in. And then what you want to do is tie it. Make sure you do this. And now see, you see all of your ribbons. Now I'm going to do yet another one, but I'm going to do a smaller one. So I'm going to do here, and I'm gonna go in right here, and then just grab my, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut. And remember to dovetail all of your ribbons so they look finished. How cute is this, you guys? I cannot wait for you to see what's next. All right, so we have two loops right here. All of our ribbons need to be split, so you see all of them, all of the tails. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, and I'll be right back. Keep watching. Okay, so we went ahead and added the sign to the wreath, and then also I added some ribbons. As you guys can see, there is a bow on the bottom and then some loops on the top and some tails all over the place. Let's do step number 3. All right, everyone, so we've added our ribbons, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some greeneries, because it shouldn't be a wreath without some greenery. And you know what I like to do is cut all of my greeneries at once. So what I'm gonna do is do that right ahead, and then we're gonna start inserting those, but I'm going to put them right here to the side. And I have a boxwood, then I have this beautiful longer boxwood, which is what's gonna give our wreath some height. So we're gonna cut that one as well. I'm gonna put this guy over this side, and then I have this really pretty flower that has purple in it that is gonna be more towards the inside of it. So there's some beautiful flowers in our wreath, and there's gonna be some other elements that I will show you. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of these beautiful flowers wherever I want them. So I'm gonna start right here in the middle, and so here's the top of it. I'm gonna do is add some right here. And when you do that, you will have to look for a place, and then let me move these guys over to this side. What you need to do is add some glue to it right here and right here, if that's where you want them, okay? And let me move this guy over here. I'm gonna start adding some of these beautiful flowers here and there, so they pop off like this. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. Take this tag off, and what goes up must come down. And be sure to intertwine them also everywhere like this. I'm gonna put one right here on the bottom, and see how that little bit of greenery just gives your wreath a little bit of pizzazz. And what I'm gonna do is add some glue to it right here, like so. And then this one right here, and another one right here, and one more right here. And that will hold them into place. So now what I'm going to do is, this one I'm gonna put a little bit more glue to it. That'll run down, and then it'll attach to some greenery. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of these really beautiful boxwood, but this one I want it more towards the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring it behind my ribbon and just leave it there. And I'm gonna, remember, what goes up must come down, and because I have the bows right here, I have to go to the side right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some glue and put it in. And so now I'm gonna do the corners coming out of my ribbon. So I'm gonna grab one right here. And the other thing you can do is you can add glue to it like this, but you're gonna waste a lot of it because it's going to run out. So where you just add it into the stem, when it's already there, then it goes in. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna, instead of adding it, I'm gonna add it right here behind the boot. And then what I do is I grab my hot glue gun and just let it run a little bit down. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring some of this down over here in between my bows, and then also here. And I'm gonna add like that, and then some right here. Voila, so we have 2 types of greenery already in it, and now what I'm gonna add is some of this beautiful greenery with a purple flower as well. And like I told you, I'm gonna go up here on the top, so I'm gonna add one. And then you wanna do the longest ones up on the top and the bottom, and the short ones on the side, because you want it to be longer versus wider. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring some of this right here in the bow, like so. If I can get it in here. It's getting a little tight. You wanna mix it into your bow. I'm gonna go over to this side. Remember, the longer ones and the longer ones on the top, the shortest ones on the side, because you want to keep that oblong shape or that longer shape. I'm gonna add one right here, and immediately I'm gonna move over to the other side over here, making sure that I put it somewhere where it's going to show. And sometimes it's getting tight, so like that. And so now this one, I'm gonna probably put somewhere. I'm gonna cut it in half because it's too long. And that's another thing you can do, is just cut them in half, so that way you keep that oblong shape. And look how that tiny little greenery just added so much to it. I'm gonna get ready for the next step, and I'll be right back. Keep watching. Well, as you can see, I went ahead and added some of those greens with purple flowers, and that just adds a lot of character to the wreath. You have to weave them in and out and make sure that they have some color on the flower that goes with the wreath. All right, let's move on to step number 4. All right, you guys, so far I am loving the way this is looking. As you guys can see, it's filling up really nicely and it's looking so cute with the colors. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna add some of these bright and vibrant picks that I showed you before, the ones with the witch hats, the very colorful ones to go with the colors, and some other ones that I will show you as I go. So I'm gonna start with this. Actually, I'm gonna start with the colorful ones. I'm gonna pick them up because I just put them down. Then I'm gonna put these ones down. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut this right here, and I only have 2 of each. So I'll show you when you don't have very many quantities of it, I will show you a trick to make it look cohesive and beautiful. So just be sure to cut them short. I'm gonna cut these ones as well. I'm gonna have 1 and 2 and remove all of those tags to make sure that they don't have tags all over the place. Then what you want to do is I'm going to cut this one in half to have 4, so there's 2, and then I'm going to cut this one right here and then make 2. And this one, unfortunately, we cannot cut because it's just 1, but I love it. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a pink one because we only have 2. So I'm going to put down one down here on the bottom, and remember, what goes up must come down, and immediately you have to go opposite side to make it look very well balanced. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of these guys right here that are very whimsical with the purple bowls, and I'm going to one right here, and then I'm going to add one right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one even in more, and I'm going to add one right here in the middle to make sure that I go all the way around my wreath like that. Just find a place like that. And then I'm gonna add yet another one over here, like this. And I have one left that I'm gonna also cut in 2. And I'm gonna go over to this side. And then I'm gonna go over to this side. And now I'm gonna glue all of this together. Okay, so what this does is when you apply glue to your stem, it'll hold it in place because it will run down, and so that's why you want to do this type of wreaths on a flat surface, so the glue all can run down and it'll stay right where it needs to be. This one's a little long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to add a little glue to it like this, and then I'm going to bring it over to this side right there. So there's ornaments all throughout the wreath, and that looks really good. So now I'm going to bring back the black ones, and I'm going to cut these guys into 3. They're a little bit longer, but they're meant to be cut like this. See, now I got 3 instead of just 1. And I'm gonna do the same with this pumpkin right here. I'm gonna cut 1, 2, and then you split them right here, and then you do a 3rd one. And so now we have 6 that I'm going to add that are gonna add some really pretty wisp into our wreath. Once again, what you wanna do is you wanna make sure that, well, first of all, it's tangled up. There you go. You add them all at once. I'm gonna start right here with this one, and you have to make sure that you go into the bristles or the wreath form, and at this point it's getting really tight. So I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna add one right here, then I'm gonna go up immediately, and I'm gonna add one right here in between the shoes, the witch's shoes, like that, to give them some fly. Then I'm gonna add one right here on the side, like that. I'm gonna add a witch hat right here on the bottom, and then I'm going to add one right here on the top of my wreath. All right, everyone, so for the last step, which is going to be to add our ornaments, we're gonna do the more traditional way, and that's going to be adding our hot glue pen, because I wanna make sure that these ornaments really stay in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna dig into my glue, and then I'm going to add this ornament right here. Now, the hot glue pen does really seem to stick better to this kind of materials when it comes down to ornaments. So what I'm going to do is just swirl the top where the cup goes, then swirl like this, and then I'm going to lift up somewhere right here, and I'm gonna add an ornament. and just hold it for a few seconds and it should stay, because this glue really does have a lot of tack to it. So when you are doing standing sprays like this glue right here does really hold on better than the hot glue gun, which you guys can see. I've already tried, and well, they were falling off, so I had to get this glue pen out and plugged in. So basically just give them a little smear to it, and then add your ornament wherever you want it, and just hang on to it for a few seconds. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little one right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it really close together to create a cluster just like in here, but I'm going to open, and I want them to be together like this. All right, you guys, well, now I want to take a second to invite you to come and join me on my Instagram for daily Insta stories, behind the scenes. And let me tell you, right now, you don't want to miss the behind the scenes for Christmas and all of the things that you don't get to see here on my YouTube channel. The link to all of my social medias are going to be linked in the description box below. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so now that those are sticking there, what we're going to do is I'm going to grab some of these black and white ones, and I'm going to use 2 of them. You will see what I do with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig into my glue right here, swirl it around, and for these particular ones I'm gonna open up right here, and I'm gonna go in here, making sure that I go in. We'll adjust those ribbons in a second. Then I'm gonna go opposite this right here, and I'm going to swirl right here some glue, spin it around, and I'm gonna go catty corner. Remember, what goes up must come down, and so I'm going to add this guy right here, and that's gonna tie in with all of our ribbons, which I think is going to be super cute. Just make sure that you hold on to it for a second while it tucks in onto your glue. You know, if it hangs on to the greenery, it does really stay, but it seems like all these ribbons, the glue is not liking, so you just have to make sure that you hang on to it for a few minutes. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same with these beautiful circle polka dotted ones. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna put one right here on the top and the other one catty corner on the bottom, and I'll be right back to give you the next step. Okay, so we're going to add the last step, which is my favorite pick that I found. And by the way, all of these items are from Shinoda Design Center, so give them a call if you need any of these items. But what I need to do first of all is remove this pesky tag. There you go. And what I want to do is I want to separate this. Let me see, do we need 2 or 3? Yeah, you can do probably 2 picks out of it, 2 which is a long one and then a smaller one. And I'm gonna do the same with this guy right here. So I'm gonna cut maybe right here at the joint, and that's gonna give us 1 pick that is short. These ones I have to keep apart because they have a swirly and they like to attach to each other, and so I'm trying to prevent from that. So I have these 3, and I'm gonna use my hot glue gun for this. I love the swirlies because they really do give character to any wreath, and I'm going to just go ahead and put some glue on this, and I'm going to let it run on it. I'm gonna come up here and add it like that. And look at that, you can always pull those and make them look even funner. I also adore this. So now we're gonna go to the opposite corner, and I'm gonna come here with some glue, and I'm gonna stick this guy right in here, hanging on to it, of course. And I'm gonna pull these guys so you can see every single swirly on it. Curly Q. All right, so now I'm gonna do one on the very top just to give us the height that we need, but I need to add some glue to it. If you have not seen the full wreath, you guys have got to go check it out. It was a beautiful full wreath with some natural looking pumpkins that I think it's my favorite wreath that I have ever done. Well, besides this one, of course. And you have got to go check it out because it was so cute and so full of information for you to be able to make your own wreaths. I'm gonna link it down below, and then also I'm gonna put it somewhere here on the screen so you can check it out for sure. So I have some here. I think I wanna come down with some on the sides. So I'm gonna add some glue to it, and I'm gonna go right here like this. And I'm gonna pull those little curlicues apart. Make sure they show. Curlicues are my favorite part of designing a wreath like this because they really do give some character. So I'm gonna put some on the bottom. You might not be able to see it right now, but you'll be able to see it when we put it on the door. But I do feel like I need one right here on the bottom. And like that. How adorable are those? And let's see, I put one right here, so I'm gonna go over to the other side. I feel like this one we can cut into two to make them last even longer. You can cut them into any that you want. You can do individuals, you can do a long pick. All right, I'm gonna put this on right here, like that. And let's see, I'm gonna put one right in the middle to cover that spot. Right there. And I'm gonna put this in the door and show you what it looks like. Keep watching. All right, you guys, well, I wanna show you how the end result looks like on the door. And as you guys can see, it is a lot of beautiful ribbons and ornaments and the beautiful sign that says trick or treat. Right here you can see the little witches hats, all of the ornaments and the little pumpkins and all of the little tails of ribbons. I did went ahead and added these leaves with sequins that are purple, but I just want you to see how beautiful this looks on a front door. This is something that you can definitely make. It is super easy if you just follow the instructions on how to create a beautiful Halloween wreath DIY step by step. I really do think this makes a statement on your door. Oh my gosh, look at those little springy, twirly picks. They just look so beautiful. And the way that the ribbons move with the wind, you guys, it really does make a statement. So what do you guys think? I told you this was a different but fun wreath DIY for Halloween. I had so much fun sharing it with you, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and learned a few tricks for this particular wreath. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below and let me know what was your favorite part and if you do put out a Halloween wreath every year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again to all of our new members this week. I cannot wait to come back with brand new ideas. If you enjoyed this video, remember I'm gonna link up down below the wreath that we did last week with the neutral colors. I really do think that you should check it out. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing and you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.